Tampa sends Green Bay packing. Dallas playing like some true featherweights. And Mahomes proving he's worth the bills. This is Raising the Bar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. Thank you for joining us. As usual, I'm your host, Anthony, and I'm here with my boy Marlon, Willie, and Andrew. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
All right, let's get into a little pre-game. Tua gets a NFL debut during the Miami blowout. What do y'all think, fellas?
I'll start because when I wrote that, I was asking, is it foreshadowing him getting the starting job? And like 2 days later, he got the starting job.
Yeah.
So, I think that was a little premature on the headline there. But I think it's a little premature to give him the starting job, considering Fitzpatrick really hasn't caused a reason to lose it.
Miami's the reason they lose. It's just because they're the Miami Dolphins. You might as well just start him. I mean, look, you see Joe Burrow doing his thing over there. I mean, a lot of rookie quarterbacks, Kyler Murray did his thing last year.
Yes, he did.
So I feel like you throw him out there, and what's the worst that can happen? I mean, it's Miami, right? So
you're saying Miami, kind of like the Browns?
Yeah, exactly like the Browns.
Team.
Yeah. So you might as well just see if you can, put some magic out of nowhere.
I'm conflicted on that because Fitzpatrick, he's a good veteran to have, man, and I feel like he was working hard and the team was behind him, and they just cut his legs off. But in reality, man, when Peyton Manning, he started off the rip. It wasn't a normal thing to do, but nowadays you just got to throw them out there because there's no better teacher than experience, So he has to be out there and get knocked down and get that feeling of the team, like, okay, here's the future. But, Fitzpatrick was going to win you some games, but, you got to think about the future. Miami doesn't have any chance at anything, so.
Not this year.
Well, Miami was like 1 or 2 wins away last year from barely making the playoffs with Fitzpatrick. 2, the whole point of sitting Tua was to allow the time to heal and for it to gain experience. So why pull him to start? I get letting him.
Yeah,
play.
the risk. You're right about that.
The whole you draft a player that high, that good, either start him from game day one. Why let him lose out on 6 games of experience? I don't.
But you gotta worry about his injury too that he's had, and he's got to come back slowly. You can't just throw him out there with the Wolves and then he gets hurt again. And now you're shit out of luck on your draft pick.
Right, which I am.
So week 6 or 5 is a good time to come back, and he only got a few minutes. He didn't just play the whole game.
Yeah, but so he got a few minutes. And now they're saying, "Hey, you're gonna start next week."
Yeah, but
he got his feet wet. They feel like he's ready. But he got his feet wet. They feel like he's ready.
I felt like they were gonna ride with Fitzpatrick to see where he would take him. Because if they would have gone, I don't know, right, 3-2 or something, they're like, all right, we're gonna keep rolling with them, but they're not. So it's like, well, we got nothing to lose now. Might as well try it. So they were like, hey, maybe we can get some momentum beginning of the season. They haven't. It's not too late.
And I'm sure
10 games.
I'm sure he's healthy. If not, they wouldn't throw him out there like that.
Oh, of course.
All right, what about the Packers in their first loss against Tampa, man? I'm going to let Drew start off with that one, with that smile you got there. So is that why you chose to wear light green today instead of the usual dark green?
No,
it's just
day.
Okay.
It's like I'm not wearing green.
Yeah.
Is that the Packers' excuse too? Was it laundry day for them?
It was laundry day. Yeah, it was laundry day. We didn't get our right jerseys
because
they thought their bye week was this Sunday, not last Sunday.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that was a hell of a game by Tampa. They came out and played really well. If you watch the game, the first 2 series were terrible for Tampa. They had no ball control, and their defense didn't play very well. Defense made a few big plays, which
the pick six was
huge. They came up with a few more stops right after that. But what Tampa succeeded was they were able to establish run dominance, which allowed them to control the game in the time of possession. At that point, Green Bay had no chance to really establish their offense without worrying about trying to catch up. So they got Green Bay off their rhythm. Plus, Green Bay's run defense is trash. They've been trash. Probably going to ever be trash.
Trash.
We haven't experienced it because Green Bay's been up so far. so quickly that teams have not had to run the ball against them; they've had to throw against them, and that's what exposed that game exposed that weakness for them. Just like Vegas exposed the weakness in Kansas City secondary a few weeks ago. So since we're talking about,
I think you're.
Shout out to my nephew Andrew listening
You're
live.
leaving out. I know you're being a good fan, but Aaron Rodgers had a shit game.
he did
Yeah,
have
I
a
was
shit
just
game.
about to.
So,
What about his 2 picks?
He did have a shit game.
Yeah, he. I mean, they were confusing him. They were pressuring him. They
but that's
punked
like-
him. You
That
know?
offensive line, that offensive line looked bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to give credit to the Tampa Bay defense.
played well.
But they made that
Please,
offensive line
let's
look
not talk
really
about the
bad.
Tampa Bay defense. I set them, and they got 21 points on my bench.
It's rough. Oh, it's rough.
Did you win or lose?
I lost.
Who
If I would have
deserves-
started the defense, I would have won.
Oh.
But no, and no, I'll give it to you. Rodgers did have a bad game, but that was part of him playing bad, and that was also Tampa Bay defense. He didn't,
Oh, yeah,
that
for
defense
sure.
was. That
I mean, you gotta
defense
make great players play bad. Like
Yeah.
they're not. He's not. Gonna, if he sits back in the pocket, he's not gonna throw picks. Of
No.
course, you gotta credit the defense, especially they were jumping the routes. Like they knew where it
big
was
time.
going.
They did
you
their
know?
homework. They did their homework.
Yeah.
I'll give them that much. And they didn't force Brady to win the game for them, and that's all you don't.
Yeah,
have to do.
Brady's a manager now.
Yeah, he's a
man.
manager.
He's a
But they didn't. That's why they were successful.
That's what they got
and
him
the games,
for.
The
That's what they
games
got
they
him for.
lost, they've lost because Brady has tried to win in the game and he can't. If he can manage the game and make the few throws he needs to, they'll be good the rest of the season. They'll win that division.
Speaking about Brady, what do y'all think about Brady and Gronk connecting like old times?
I mean, they were going to have to get a touchdown eventually, right? We didn't think they were going to go the whole season without getting a touchdown.
But you don't feel like Gronk is getting back into his rhythm?
I feel like you can't get how long was he gone for? 3 years or 2?
3 years.
3.
Okay. Go ahead. Make that point.
I feel like you can't get out for 3 years and then like immediately jump in. You're gonna say Le'Veon Bell, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's completely different. No, because I already know what you're gonna say, but that's completely different because Le'Veon Bell.
He's like, the moment I knew I messed.
Slow it down. He just
that's different
you.
because Le'Veon Bell's been on been practicing. He's
Yes,
been
yes,
hurt,
yes,
right?
yes.
So this guy's been over there doing WWE and stuff, fighting against the Big Show. Like, it's completely different. But you never know. I mean, Gronk, he might not be the most talented tight end ever, but he's the most dominant tight end ever. And if he gets to 70-80% of what he used to be, yeah, it's going to be dangerous.
I just think that team is like really complete. They're not like incredible at anything. They're really good at everything.
Yeah.
And they're balanced, man. Those dudes may mess around and make the Super Bowl, and you never know what can happen, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady, he's smart. Who's gonna outsmart him? He knows how to hand the ball, what plays to run, and then the defense is stepping up. They got weapons like crazy. Mike Evans, he's on my football team, my fantasy team. He got me 2 points, and they beat the
scored
hell out of the
38.
Packers.
Yeah, he scored 38.
So imagine when he has a monster game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, what about which team do y'all think is suffering most at the QB position, the Vikings or the Browns?
I think the Vikings are, man. Like, as much as Baker Mayfield's going to get a lot of hate, he's not the greatest quarterback, right? And we knew that coming in, he wasn't going to be the greatest quarterback. But
the
there
people
is
handing
upside.
them the commercials didn't know that shit.
I feel like
I'm like, why is this fool in every commercial?
there is more upside with Baker. Like he can create more out of nothing, in my opinion. He can also lose you games, which Kirk Cousins doesn't always lose you games. But I just don't see Kirk Cousins winning you a game if you're down by 6 and you absolutely need the touchdown. I don't see him doing it for you personally.
I just disagree, man. I mean, Kirk Cousins might not be playing well this year, but he's shown in the past, like he keeps those franchise years that he just keeps getting them because he plays well, and he's playing bad right now. But I mean, Mayfield, man, the team, Odell doesn't want to be there no more. You just see him pouting and just complaining. He wants out.
Yeah, but Odell doesn't want to be anywhere.
No, but there's a reason, man. This dude can't throw the ball to them.
Probably want to be in Kansas City.
You can't tell me he's not a superstar just because he's not showing it, but the quarterback can't get it to him. And this is a sport where if you don't have a quarterback, what are you really gonna do? You can't do anything. And Mayfield, he looks bad, man. He needs to shave.
But like Marlon says, it's just it's the Browns, man. Like,
Well,
I mean, it's just the Browns
But
curse,
the
I
Browns
guess.
have a good team, Primo. They have a good team.
So exactly Marlon's
Vikings have a
point.
better
It's the
team.
Browns curse, man.
So
If you're talking about like overall better team, the Vikings got Dalvin Cook, that's leading in rushing. Is he not? I don't know if he still is. He was up before last week. He's leading a rushing.
Ronald Jones may have passed him.
Matt passed him. Okay. Well, and then their Vikings defense have been really good for the last 4 years.
Trash this year.
But they've been really good.
Mm-hmm.
They have this. They have the talent. It's just, I mean, sometimes you have bad seasons.
The Vikings lost a few key players on defense. I know, especially in the secondary, so they're struggling there. But I think the Vikings have it worse off. Kirk Cousins threw 3 picks in the first half against Atlanta.
The worst team in the NFL.
You know,
they're competing with the Giants.
and the thing is, they wouldn't pay
With the who?
Kirk
I'm sorry?
Cousins all
The
that
Giants.
money.
Okay.
They wouldn't pay Cousins all that money.
Yeah, you
and
might.
I get what you're saying.
You might be right.
He has won games before them in the past, but
Yeah, in the past,
that's been as a team effort. I mean, you think you had Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen when he was there. You had Dalvin Cook still. You had a defense that was worth starting in fantasy the last couple of years. They don't have that this year. So now the pressure's on him to win games, and he isn't able to come to that pressure.
Yeah.
He's not able to.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if you're talking about this year, yeah, I'll give it to you. But I feel
Overall, yeah,
over
but-
like the years that he's been with the Vikings and that Mayfield's been with the Browns, is just
No,
not
but
even.
this year, I mean,
this year, yeah,
the Browns
I can
are
see
3-2. I mean, they're at this rate, they're probably going to make if they keep going, right? They're probably going to make the playoffs. Do I see them making the
No.
playoffs? No, because they're going to lose to the Ravens and they're going to lose again to the Steelers.
Yeah.
So that's going to end up being another 3 losses, and they're going to beat Cincinnati, maybe. So they're going to end up at least having 6-7 losses. They probably won't make the playoffs, but I mean, really, over 500 is good for Cleveland. Let's be realistic.
They're tired of that. They're tired of that.
Yeah, but the Vikings aren't
believe-
going to go win either because Green Bay, the division is won practically.
No, Chicago's 5-1,
Yeah, but Chicago doesn't scare nobody.
but they're still 5-1.
They don't scare nobody. We'll see when they play Green Bay.
We'll talk that about in the after hours.
All right, let's head into week 5. Let's start with Cleveland gets a reality check against Pittsburgh.
I mean, I think we all agreed, except for the host. Last week said that Pittsburgh.
said
I do not recall that.
I said
But-
Pittsburgh was going to beat the shit out of them. Is there a footage on that, editor? Can you put last week's?
Not yet, not yet.
We didn't pay
Maybe
for that
next
part.
season.
We didn't pay for that in Adobe, so
The editor's out of town this
We
week.
got the student subscription, not the.
But no, I mean Pittsburgh, man, that defense is insane. And they did what we thought they were gonna do.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be so much of
are who
ass
we
whooping,
thought
but realistically, we knew Pittsburgh. That will go into that matchup. But yeah, Pittsburgh, man, this is gonna be a good year for them. This is their chance.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger probably got one more good year, and this is probably gonna be
this is
it.
going to be it.
This is gonna be it.
Anything to add, Andrew?
No, I mean, there's not much more to add on that one. Yeah, I think it was a reality check for Cleveland. They got some soul searching to do. Gimmicks.
Soul searching.
What would you do, Andrew? What would you do?
soul.
What is? They have a lot of problems. What is the biggest problem that maybe will make them into a playoff team that can win a game in the playoffs?
Well, besides coaching, they don't have a quarterback.
No, it's fundamentals. Baker Mayfield is not the greatest quarterback.
But Cleveland hasn't had a quarterback since like
Ever.
1847.
Since they were the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts.
Whenever, they never had a quarterback, which has
Or
always
the
been their
Baltimore
problem.
Ravens, when they were the Baltimore Ravens.
Look, they
Baltimore
get every quarterback. They're always the number one seed. I mean, number one draft pick, right? Now they're getting the defense, but they got Brady Quinn. That didn't work. They got Baker Mayfield. Those were the good quarterbacks coming out.
Tim Couch.
Yeah, but none of them all of them play for a shitty team. This is actually a good team.
Yeah.
They have a good team.
They have talent everywhere else, but they have talent everywhere, including the quarterback position. Their quarterback position isn't untalented. It's just they are lacking our fundamentals. And fundamental football will win you games.
Let me ask you this, because Baker was in the same. Was he in the same class as Mahomes, or was he?
No,
No.
he was the draft class after Mahomes.
Who got drafted after Mahomes?
Yes, because it was Mahomes, and Mahomes played Mayfield his sophomore year.
Who got drafted number one
And-
with Mahomes? Because Mahomes got drafted 6, right?
Yeah.
No, Mahomes was number 10.
10.
That year.
Trubisky was 6.
Yeah, because
No, Trubisky was 3rd.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, they traded.
That's
Yeah,
what
so
it was.
Chicago
Trubisky
could've
was
gotten
3rd. Okay, so that's where I got it confused.
Trash.
Could've gotten-
But
Mahomes.
even if you get a quarterback like Trubisky, like that, literally y'all are asking for, not y'all, but in general, for an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson to come win. But there's a reason why the Seattle Seahawks have been good for so long. Mahomes is really good now. Aaron Rodgers has kept Green Bay relevant because those guys are special.
But none of those, the thing is that the franchise was just terrible because none of those players went to a team like
But let's be realistic. Like Kansas City now competing, right? But before that, Tom Brady, because he was the best quarterback, and before him, Peyton Manning, because he was the best quarterback. So it's always the best quarterback. It's always the same two. And Ben Roethlisberger, it's always been the same 3-4 quarterbacks throughout the last 15 years. And it's hard to find one of those talents.
Okay. Good point, Marlon. All right, next game. Birds of a feather don't always flock together. Ravens and Eagles. Did y'all watch that game?
I saw highlights on it.
The Eagles came back, man. What was it, a 2-point game?
Yeah, they lost by 2 points. Yeah,
They were up by 3 touchdowns, right? 21-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Eagles put a good comeback together, which is kind of to show you that despite no receivers, despite didn't Miles Sanders get hurt that game?
I don't know.
Or I mean, they just with the lack of talent that they have there on the field as of right now. I mean, they're still competitive, and
It's very true.
it's that game showed me that they have a chance to win the division, especially with that going out in Dallas and everyone so close in that division with no wins, pretty much.
Honestly,
Now Dak's out. I think Philly wins the division.
no. Like I last week I told you that the Cowboys were going to win the division. And yeah, I saw them play this week, and I'd take that back. That was already. I'm not gonna wait for the end of the season. That was my bad. Maybe I thought too much of Andy Dalton. I guess I don't know, but that was pretty bad. So
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But Baltimore is just they laid the foot off the gas, but they're a good team, man, and
Yeah.
it's just I guess what Andrew was saying, fundamentals, and they fell asleep and they need a little comeback. Philly did, and they got it together. They got the W. That ain't gonna happen to them again.
can I ask a question? Why do y'all think that? I'm trying to think back at the other years. Why this year it seems like so many comebacks are happening? Like with Dallas comeback every time. Why do teams have such big leads and they just stop playing?
I think part of that has to do with lack of
Conditioning. Maybe.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
City winning the Super Bowl last season, they were like, we could do it too, but no, that's not true.
It just seems weird, right? Like Eagles almost came back on Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's clearly better. Dallas doing it on pretty
Every
much
team
almost
this
every
week.
team except for this last week that Dak wasn't. Like it just happens so much that it's just kind of weird. You would think professional teams would be like, all right, we're up by 3 touchdowns. This is our job. We should probably finish the game pretty good.
So I think we talk about that in the after hours, but real quick on that, Melvin Gordon gets hit with a DUI in the middle of the season. So do you think those guys are actually? Do you think every single player is training and doing the preseason if they don't have to be done, if it's not being made by the coach?
Yeah, but if anything, everyone's going through it.
Right.
I mean,
But I think it's just people are out, like you said, fatigued. They're out of shape. Like
yeah.
they're not in football.
That's
shape
what it
because
is, and then especially the defense, they're always gonna get more tired,
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
All right, Atlanta versus Minnesota. The Falcons finally hold on to the lead. Is this a result of new coaching, or is everyone on notice?
I think everyone's on notice. I think after they fired Dan Quinn, and they talk about Arthur, I forget the guy's name. Arthur Blank. He talked about possibly trading Matt Ryan. Like,
But I mean, that's another quarterback. Matt Ryan had 2 good years his whole career.
he had more than 2 good years.
No, we're not talking about good. What I mean by good years is like where you can be like, whoa, that guy, he's balling out.
He's had more than 2 good years.
He hasn't. He had the year they went to the Super Bowl, and he had the 1 year they lost in the conference championship. But realistically, he's a
good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
He's a
but
good
we just
quarterback.
talked about that with Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying Baker is in the level as Matt Ryan, but you need great quarterbacks to win. There's very rare teams that win with a Peyton Manning throwing for 80 yards. And
necessarily, like, if you think about, every other team besides the Patriots and
that's
the Seahawks and the Packers, like that. Rodgers doesn't even get to the conference championship.
He just got there last week.
It's not. You don't need a.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to claim that one? You probably don't want to claim that one. But anyways, you got to think about. There's a lot of teams that get up there, man. I mean, Philly won without their starting quarterback. That's.
Yeah, but Nick Foles balled out though.
But he's not a starting quarterback.
He is now.
He is now.
But
and he's a starting quarterback for a 5-1 team.
He was actually a starter before.
But what I'm trying to say is that if you tell me that you can't win with Matt Ryan,
you can't win with Matt Ryan. They should have won with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
He should have won the MVP.
Nah, but he didn't lose that game.
He didn't.
That was a team effort.
No. He didn't lose that game. And this is a point that I'm also with that. Me and Willie talked about that. We always talk about this. a quarterback is supposed to be a leader, right? If you know that you got to run the ball to kill the clock, sometimes you got to put your ego down and be like, you know what? This is what we're talking about with Russell Wilson throwing the fucking ball instead of Lynch running the ball. Why doesn't Russell Wilson put his ego down and be like, you know what? Hey, man, run this ball for 1 yard so we can win this damn game. Why is Matt Ryan saying
that wasn't his call? That was Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Why can't you audible? Why can't you be like, you know what?
Because
That wasn't the right play.
That goes to prove our point about Wilson at the time. He didn't have the authority to do that yet.
But nobody.
He was a pup. Like, you think that Brady or Manning couldn't have made that call and be like, no, coach, you're messing up. We got to run this damn football.
When it comes to play calling, there's certain quarterbacks that can do it, and you got to be that guy before you can do it. And I'm not saying Wilson's not.
At that time, he was like, you know.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is,
that wasn't ego. Look, that was reverse psychology on an.
They thought it was gonna work. Yeah.
Yes, but look, let me tell you. I've watched football for 15 years, 16 years, right? I've never played an actual football game. Never even practiced in an actual football game. And you can ask Willie. We watched the football game together.
The ultimate noob.
We watched the football game together, the Super Bowl, Falcons versus Patriots. For 4 or 6 minutes, I said, run the ball. And they kept throwing it, and they kept getting flags, and they got out of kicking range, field goal range, and they had to punt it. And that cost them the game. And I threw the pillow, whatever the fuck it was, on the couch, and I said they lost the game when they got that 10-yard penalty and they got out of field goal range.
Yeah, well, Marlon was
just
saying
simple.
That.
Run the ball, kick the damn field goal, go up by 11 points, and it's game over. Why are you trying to? That's what I'm saying. If I was a quarterback, you know what, coach? You can fire me after this, but I'm winning this damn Super Bowl. Run the damn ball, get -1 yards, but we're still in field goal range. Don't get that holding call that costs you 10 yards. You know what I'm saying? Don't
but the
put
thing is
yourself
that
in that position.
they don't expect those things to happen. But you know, Matt Ryan
that goes back to fundamentals.
Matt Ryan has, you know, had a good career, man.
Apparently I got our after hours topic.
Yeah.
Let's get into the preview week. Let's start with Pittsburgh and Tennessee, two undefeated teams.
Oof.
I think this is going to be a game of the week, man.
That's going to be a 30. No, not even 30. It's going to be like a 28-27 game.
We've seen both offenses, and recently, especially last week, we've seen both defenses. So we think it's going to be over or under whatever Vegas says. Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
No, I think it's going to be. I don't know what Vegas is saying.
Do you think
I'm thinking it's going to be a 24-21 game, like last second field goal.
So you think it's 3-point game? You think field goal decides?
I think it's both defenses are really good. Both offenses are decent. Like, they're good. You know, they're not great offenses, but the defenses are both really good. But I feel like they're gonna end up getting some points.
So who's your win?
That's tough. I feel like I'm gonna ride with Tennessee on this one just because
a creative player.
I feel like I like what they're doing, man.
Tennessee's putting up crazy points.
But after the Tennessee and Houston game, man, I gotta give it to Pittsburgh. Did y'all see that game where Houston came back? I mean, what happened
That's
there?
what we're talking about, comebacks, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about comebacks. You know, like
So,
whatever
I got
the case may be.
Well, that Deshaun Watson to me is more dynamic, especially with Will Fuller. That I would pick that team to come back more than I would the Philly team, just because they're dynamic players.
Well, Houston has proven it.
Yeah.
And the playoffs last year, I mean, they were down 21 or what was it against the Bills?
I think they were down 21.
21, and they came back and scored like 4 touchdowns in a matter of 2.5 seconds. So it's kind of like, you know, they've proven it. Of course, you had DeAndre Hopkins there to help out.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's gonna be a hell of a game.
So you got Tennessee, you got Pittsburgh, you got.
Man, I kind of want to say Tennessee, but I want Pittsburgh to go in for sure.
Pittsburgh's going to win, and here's why. What's going to happen?
Calm down, Stephen A.
They're going to stack the box. They're going to try and shut down Henry.
Yeah.
And they're going to make Tannehill beat you. So
but Tannehill has proven it.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Hold on. He had a couple good games. Let's not forget Tannehill played how many seasons in Miami?
No, he's had a good.
We just said Miami.
It don't matter, though.
We just said Miami.
He's had a good year in 6 weeks.
He's had a good year. But if you're telling me you got to choose between Roethlisberger or Tannehill to win you a game, I'm choosing Roethlisberger.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that's going to happen. It's going to come down to they're going to make Tennessee throw the ball. Now, Tennessee has great wideouts.
They have great weapons, man.
They have great weapons. So if he can get time to throw the ball, they have a chance. But if I got to choose between the two, game management, smart decisions, playing under pressure, playing at being undefeated, going in and trying to maintain that against a good team. Roethlisberger's been there. He's done it more. I'm gotta give the.
I wouldn't bet on this game. I wouldn't bet on it. It's one of those like, you know what, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you're gonna lose. So I wouldn't bet on it. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Hopefully.
So only one Titans.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Carolina and New Orleans? Looking like both teams must win to stay relevant in the division.
I'm gonna trust Drew Brees over Bridgewater, man. So.
New Orleans is such a disappointment.
Yeah, they're a disappointment, but I'm still gonna trust Drew Brees over Bridgewater. Bridgewater, hey, he's doing good. I mean, he's doing. I mean, well, he's. No one said he was ever gonna do spectacular numbers, right? He's trying to do what he's got to do.
What's New Orleans' record right now?
Both teams are 3.
They're both 4-2.
No, 3-2. We're going to week 6 right now. Yeah.
Okay.
3-2.
I'm just gonna go with Drew Brees just off of the experience. And
Nola.
yeah, I mean they're a high scoring offense, so
I think New Orleans is gonna win, but because they're gonna compete with
is
Tampa.
McCaffrey back?
They should.
He's off IR, but he hasn't. They haven't listed him active.
But even without McCaffrey, I mean that what's his name? Mike Davis is
Doing work.
putting in work. I mean he's not McCaffrey, but hey, he's not doing bad.
On fantasy, he is.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we all agree on New Orleans.
I'm gonna go with New Orleans too. Same
Yeah.
thing. If I gotta pick who's gonna win a game between Bridgewater and
Drew Brees.
I will say this though. Bridgewater was in New Orleans when Brees was out, and they did not lose a game.
No, I mean
So he.
Yeah, but
He
that
can
was a
play.
good team. That was a good New Orleans team.
But receiver wise, it's basically like it feels like New Orleans is like a wish version of New Orleans, or Carolina's a wish version. Like right now, New Orleans has Alvin Kamara. They have Mike Davis. Yeah, both are good, but Alvin Kamara is Alvin Kamara. New Orleans has Mike Thomas. They have DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore is good, but it's Mike Thomas.
yeah.
They have Jared Cook. I don't remember who tight end for is. I think is it still Jared Wilson? I don't know. Whoever it is, it ain't Jared Cook.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they have downgraded players, but
I mean, because McCaffrey's hurt, but would you pick Kamara over McCaffrey?
you talking about fantasy or build a team around?
We're talking about
hell
you
no, I ain't
want
putting-
to
picking
Kamara
him.
both ways.
Nah.
pause.
McCaffrey's a beast, bro. He don't need the team.
And if you
Plays
tell me
by himself.
McCaffrey, I don't remember the stat, but he had like the most usage. Was
Yeah.
it last year? He had the
Yeah.
most
Who was
usage.
on the team? They had no.
That's what I'm
lineup.
saying.
But
He's
he
a monster.
did it. He did it. He lasted the whole season. That guy's a beast.
I'm not
man.
saying he's not.
I'm not saying Kamara is not.
But
But he doesn't. But McCaffrey didn't have.
White people
he
claim
didn't
your
have
running
Drew
back.
Brees.
Claim him.
So you put McCaffrey in New Orleans. Does he have that same production?
I think
because
he
you
has
don't
more
need to.
production.
He has less production. You don't have to funnel everything through one guy.
Yeah, you don't have to, but you know who they're gonna funnel it to. And he's still doing it. You know, like, hey, last year Cam
your
Newton.
stats might not be the same, but your production's gonna be better because you're gonna be more efficient. You're gonna get in the end zone more.
It's-
It's gonna be.
I don't think it's the same. I think you guys view this kind of like as basketball. In football, there's certain things where you have to respect. Like you have to respect passes. You have to respect run. Yeah, you know the ball's gonna go to McCaffrey. But
What else can they do during the game, Andrew?
What else?
Tell me. Can they throw it backwards?
Yeah,
They have. You could run into your own player's
respect
ass
the
and
pass
fumble.
and respect the run.
Hey,
What other options is there?
respect
Is a brisk walk.
Respect the
Brisk walk.
kicker. Shout out to my nephew.
Fumble Rooski.
Hey, no, what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, you know McCaffrey's gonna get the ball, but what's the one time when your safety comes up and is like, you know what, McCaffrey get the ball, I'm gonna blow this play up, and it's a play action, and they hit you for 80 yards back. So the safety has to stay home just long enough for McCaffrey to get the ball. Now McCaffrey is athletic enough to make something happen once he gets the ball, but it's just like against Tampa Bay. They knew what they were going to do against Rodgers. He knew what he was going to do on that play. He came down and bit. What happens if that's a pump and go?
Oh, yeah.
He's burnt for a
Touchdown.
touchdown. You got to kind of know.
But
he gambled and he risked.
You don't think that Christian McCaffrey, if he played for a better team, he wouldn't be a
They wouldn't
monster?
use-
He would
No,
be a monster.
He would, but they wouldn't utilize him. He wouldn't have.
But
the
he would.
most usage.
But he. I know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but he would
though.
have better
Put Alvin
usage.
Kamara. He would have more effective usage, not better.
That's
Put
what I
Alvin-
just said.
Put Alvin Kamara.
He'd be more effective.
Put
And
Alvin
he would
Kamara-
win football games. He would take that over getting his ass beat up by the linebackers every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would be a better player because he'd be like, okay, you throw in the ball when you least expect it. You give me the ball, I'm taking it to the house. Or I'm running in the end zone. When you're a talented player, I don't care what sport you're in, you don't want to play by yourself. You can't pick that, like that narrative of, oh, no, I'm putting the team on my back. That's a bunch of bullshit. You want to play with good players so you can be even better.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree.
You might touch the ball less, but whenever you touch the ball, you're going to show how good you actually are.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get one-on-one coverage. You give one-on-one coverage to McCaffrey, he's going to beat the guy.
'Cause I
At
know what
least
you're
80%
saying.
of the time. But when you have to beat a guy, and then there's another guy getting your ankle, and then another guy getting your knee, and then another guy getting your helmet, like
think
it's
about
kinda hard.
that argument from back in the day that, Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders, right? Barry Sanders never had a team. Imagine if he would have played for the Cowboys, what would you think they would have done? His yards would have been a little bit less probably, but he would have won a shitload of Super Bowls. So then he would have gone down as even greater than he already is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but in that debate,
Adrian Peterson doesn't get the respect that he deserves, but because he played for the Vikings.
I feel like Adrian Peterson gets a lot.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't get.
Because
they didn't even put him in the top 10 all time.
But he hasn't retired yet.
But they don't put him up there. Man.
Yeah, but because people like to put old school players. They put Jim Brown. Jim Brown never won. Barry Sanders, he never even won a playoff game, I think. It's because Adrian Peterson, I feel like he hasn't retired yet. Because realistically, Adrian Peterson is probably top 5 best running backs.
What about Green Bay versus Houston? 2 teams coming off of losses. What do you think?
Do you want to go Packer fan first, or let's put them last so the audience can
Let's start with Willie.
Catch the thrill.
Green Bay versus Houston.
Oh, Green Bay's they're gonna dominate, man. They're gonna take the anger out on Houston. They're gonna beat the piss out of them, and they're gonna get back on the conversation on why they should be contending. And I feel like that loss just really did a lot for them because they're gonna realize the weaknesses that they have, and get that humble pie. And you gotta understand it's a copy league, so Houston's gonna try the same thing, but it's not gonna work for them. And Rodgers, he's gonna understand like, hey, I need to read the game better because I did a terrible job at that, And Houston's obviously not a good team. They are right, but they can't compete with Green Bay. Green Bay's gonna win by a lot.
Kind of like what Kansas City did to the Bills. They came back and.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna come out with a point to prove. I mean, like Willie said earlier, he had a shit game. I don't see him having a shit game and then an okay game. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a great game because that's just Aaron Rodgers. And you know this better than any of us. Has Aaron Rodgers, other than that bad season that they went like 6-10 or whatever, has he lost back-to-back games like ever?
Sure, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we're not the statistic. Stats on you?
No, I mean, of course, we don't really know, right? Because we got to go back 15 years. But
and one thing that I wanted to mention about
back-to-back games.
I don't remember
one thing, before you go, Andrew, the last week's game, I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers is embarrassed, man, because after Manning retired and the Manning and Brady conversation was going on, they will not shut the hell up about the Rodgers and Brady. It was so much anticipation. Rodgers has a hell of a team. Brady has, quote unquote, had a decent team. Now they're going to be put up higher on the pedestal. Brady didn't do anything spectacular. But since they beat the hell out of them, he's embarrassed now. Now he's going to just take it up on these little teams, and he's just going to bash it on
Houston's not a little team, though. But he is. And look, I'm just going to say this before Andrew goes. I have Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy, and I think this is going to be a W for me because I see him going for about 4 or 5 touchdowns.
He going to drop 40 on him?
I don't know about that, but he's going to drop 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, Willie's point, Brady didn't do much. Didn't have to. The run game established it. Yeah, Rodgers is embarrassed after that game. I don't think that he's ever lost back-to-back games, so I don't see that happening, especially against Houston. I do pick Green Bay, 1, as a fan, because
surprising.
I'm always going to pick them. But 2, I do think that they're the better offense. Houston does not have an established run game like Tampa Bay does. Tampa Bay's Ronald Jones, I think, is, if not the leading rusher, he's definitely in the top 3 leading rushing.
He's definitely doing good on fantasy for me.
So Houston doesn't have that. They have not been able to establish.
I got David
Johnson, and part of that is they've been down and they've had to throw the ball. That's part of the reason why. But again, they get down.
Yeah, exactly.
So Green Bay scores a lot of points, and Houston's defense is nothing to write home about. Yeah, I mean they got J.J. Watt, but they really don't have much else aside from that. So as long as they can give Rodgers the time and the protection he needs, then that means they'll score a bunch of points. Houston will go down, and they'll have to throw the ball, which Green Bay does well against. They don't do well against the run. So
good point.
If they can keep that formula and make sure they score quick and early, they'll be all right. If they don't score quick and early, and Houston gets established in a run game, it could be a rough. It could be a rough game.
Quick question for you: How many years do you think Deshaun Watson was too late with that Houston team for them to really be like there?
Man,
2 years, 1 year.
No, they had a good team last year, man. I don't know what I mean. They, we go back to that trade, man. I'm never gonna agree with
No,
it.
but that didn't happen last year. Like, I mean,
they had a good
they
team
had-
last year, man.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had
but
a hell of a season last year. Like,
Was Carlos Hyde there last year? No, Carlos Hyde was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you think
3 years
Deshaun
ago.
Watson 3
3
years
years
ago with that teeth? Well, I'm talking about with a healthy JJ.
Yeah.
But it's because that's another thing. JJ Watt is never healthy.
JJ Watt and
And
Jadavion
Jadavion Clowney.
Yeah.
And
3 years ago.
Whitney Merciless. And you think 3 years ago they would
3
have
years
done?
ago. 3 years ago, he comes in and plays like he does last season and somewhat of this season.
Yeah.
they got unlucky to play Kansas City, man. Kansas City's gonna go down as an all-time great team by the time they're done. And
Yeah, it
you
looks
could
like it.
you could honestly
Allegedly.
say, yeah, if we don't run into them, we could have done some things. And,
From your lips to God's
You know.
ears.
Yeah.
Going on to the next matchup, I mean, which we shouldn't bother, KC versus Denver. Some people may think that the AFC West is KC's kryptonite, but I fail to believe that.
I don't know. I mean, they got beat by the Chargers. Just about beat them,
Should have
Raiders.
beat them.
and they did get beat by the Raiders.
But that's just because they have
Denver's coming off a win over New England.
But you know
Yeah.
why?
They're
you know,
That's
familiar
actually-
with each other.
Yeah,
They
that's what I'm
study
saying.
each other.
That's-
They play each
That's a
other
good
a
win
lot.
for Denver.
That's
Cam
why
Newton
that's
played-
why
Huge win.
That's why it's their kryptonite, because you pay him 2 times a year for the last ever. You're gonna eventually Andy Reid. I mean, he's a great play caller, but you start understanding how to kind of play against them. Clearly, not enough because you're not beating them. But that's also on the talent level.
Yeah.
I mean, what have we said? We could go back to week was it 2 or 3 when they played the Chargers or week 2. It's all depending on the quarterback, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be not a close game, but it's gonna be a good matchup just because it is divisional. But like I said at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't pick against Kansas City any game this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, we can't. Sorry.
I just want to throw that in there just to take some jabs.
Would you pick against Kansas City against Green Bay? Whenever they play a week?
We don't play this year.
No?
No, we played last year.
Last
We
week
played-
I said y'all played. That's why I was just.
No, we
Yeah.
played last year. We beat them last year.
No, last week someone said they played.
It was a Mahomeless Kansas
But
City.
it was still the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not the Kansas City Mahomes.
If I give props to anybody that beat Kansas City last season, it'd be the Colts.
Hey, can the Chargers get some props for putting up a good fight?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Oh, let me get a. You tried hard, bunny trophy. So
We do play the Colts this year, though.
Oh, y'all do?
yeah, the Raiders beat y'all this year. So shout out to Andrew. Thank you for our audience.
And all the
An
Raiders
applause
fans,
would be
hey, thank you for
appreciated.
listening. All the Raiders fans.
All the Raider fans here in
I
attendance today
appreciate it. Appreciate
Just
it.
because you're a
KC's
Raiders
still
fan,
gonna
don't
win
mean
the
you gotta be a
division, so I don't know
gangsta.
why y'all clapping.
with that little blemish, the asterisk.
That little asterisk. Let's get into because Andrew wants to get into the fantasy injury.
Real quick, shout out on fantasy. Your boy's #1 in the league. Just
I was number 1 last week. I didn't do a shout out, man. Come on, man. Why you gotta
I'm
do
sorry,
that?
that's your fault. 1, for not being #1 this week. 2, tough luck. Any noticeable injuries for you guys that you maybe notice or that will? Let me rephrase that. Any noticeable injuries that may impact any games coming up? I think Dalvin Cook Cook being out.
That's the
But he's supposed to be back, right?
No, he's out till at least week 8 against the Packers. That's
Really?
Yeah, groin injury. It's
Look,
not
But they got a
fair.
bye week.
No, they don't have a bye week.
Yeah, they do.
No, I don't think they do.
I think they do.
No, the Vikings play.
No, they got a bye week.
Okay, they got a bye week this week, but they still got to play week 7.
All right.
So
wait.
I mean, but that bye week helps Dalvin Cook.
He
Yeah, it
won't
does.
come back until week 8.
But still, I mean, that helps a week. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
Whatever. Anyways, for me personally, being on my team, barely coming back, Raheem Mostert, man.
Golly.
Yeah.
First of all, he's averaging. I'm looking at it right now as we speak. He's out for.
Thank you, Andrew.
He was out for 2 games
They do have a bye week.
and got hurt this last
Minnesota.
game, and he's averaging 17.5 points. That's hella good.
That's hella good.
So he'd probably be like number 1 if he wouldn't have been out those 2.5 games, right? Raheem Mostert, San Francisco needs him, man. San
time.
Francisco needs a lot, but they definitely needed him. And
So what does that do? What does that do to their season? Because right now they need every win they can get.
But let me tell you,
do think
man.
they make playoffs this year now?
I don't think so. Raheem Mostert was important, and he's gonna be out for at least. They said at least miss a month or more with the high ankle sprain, and we talked about that. That's 4 games. Even if they go 2-2, what would that put them at? It would put them at 4-5.
4 and 5, yeah.
going against Seattle, going against Los Angeles. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So
And Arizona.
Arizona.
Arizona's 3-2 right now.
Who's the worst team in the league right now?
Giants.
But the Giants
Jets?
just beat Washington.
The freaking Jets.
Or the Jets.
I mean, okay.
All of the above. I don't even recognize the Jets no more. Like, I thought there was only
'cause,
one bad team.
I knew
Shout out to Tico.
I knew that answer for like about 20 years.
I was about to say
now
that.
they're all right. So, Brown.
I was
fans,
about to say
enjoy these years.
The most devastating injury would be Darnold, man. QB for the Jets, man. It's going to hurt him a lot. Shout out to Tico.
Golly.
I mean, aside, and again, when I wrote this, Moser hadn't been ruled out yet, so I didn't realize that. But I think the biggest impactful to a team right now would be Ertz. I mean, you lose another wideout in Philly that you don't have to throw to, and they got Goddard out too. They don't have Goddard or Ertz or Jackson or Jeffrey.
So just more problems
Shout out to
in
the
Philly.
Chargers defense. Man.
Or how about we talk about the 1-3 Chargers that Austin Eckler is back out? And clearly the running game is lacking. Eckler, man, believe it or not, he was doing his thing, right? And we thought that Josh Kelly and what was the other guy's name? The other backup.
The backups,
You had-
Jackson?
Jackson. We thought Jackson and Josh Kelly were going to step it up, and they haven't. They haven't compared to Austin Eckler. Eckler last year and this year was getting me.
But out of
15
them
and
two,
20.
I feel like Jackson's doing a slightly better than.
I mean, he had one good game so far, and then they went on a bye week. So we'll see what happens this week.
Yep.
But
Who do y'all
I mean,
got? Who do y'all play?
No, not Tampa. They play.
Who plays
we'll check
Tampa?
right now.
Oh, the
No.
Raiders play Tampa.
Yeah, they play Tampa. We play. Let me make sure here before I. Yep, bye week. They play Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
So we'll see there, and then we play Denver. But yeah, I mean, I would go with Mostert just because San Francisco, they already have way too many injuries. They were expecting to get him back. They did get him back, and well, injuries happen, I guess. But I think that's the end of their season, man. Honestly, as a San Francisco fan, you got to be disappointed. It's got to be over before he even starts.
You know what? It's funny. The same thing happened to the Rams. Happened to the 49ers.
Yeah.
They make it to the Super Bowl. They get beat, and then now they don't even make the playoffs.
But the Rams
season's
was
up.
different because they were just playing bad. They didn't have as many injuries. These guys, week one, come on, man. You
Yeah,
get
that's
injuries
true.
out like for days. You get your best defensive player out. You get key players like Jimmy G, your quarterback out. You go through the whole preseason, the small preseason that they had with the quarterback, and then he's immediately out. You got to bring a backup in.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
All right. Anything else to add, boys? Last call.
30 seconds.
Last call for alcohol.
What you think about L.A.? I don't know if y'all watch baseball. L.A. Dodgers winning Game 1. You think this is their year finally?
We'll save that for after hours.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, watch the game. They beat the hell out of the 8.
8-3.
Yeah, they did. They did good.
So it might be their year, man. So all the LA fans, the baseball fans, shit.
Any LA fans, actually, we appreciate you all.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, my little rant, 30 seconds, my last call is going to be, go Pack Go. I think we're going to rebound win out. And
I hope
go
y'all
Super Bowl.
do, man.
They're gonna win out. They're gonna end
hope
up
y'all do.
15-1. Oh, it's 17 games this year, right?
We'll see. Yeah.
16-1. You gotta go 16-1.
16-1.
All right. Well.
You already here first.
Right.
You heard it here first at Raising the Bar.
Raising the bar.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Willie?
Yeah.
Does it have to be football
no,
related? The Clásico is this weekend, so we gonna have a recap if y'all want to listen to it. And yeah,
By,
it's gonna be interesting. Saturday in the morning.
Tell them what the Clásico is, because some of them.
The
might not know.
Clásico, Barca Real Madrid. It's gonna be probably a shit game, but hey, it's still a Clásico. And
Did we agree on where we were gonna watch it?
not yet.
We'll
but
talk after.
Leave that for after.
After hours.
Okay.
Stay
All right,
tuned for
ladies
that.
and gentlemen. Well, thank you for joining us once again, and once again, shout out to our live audience, Andrew the Goat. He's a Raiders fan. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. But be sure to like, subscribe, all of that. I'll let these guys say their goodbyes.
I guess I'll start. No, well, ladies and gents, thanks for coming back another week. If it is your first week, I appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, leave any comments, and hopefully you like. And if you don't, well, keep watching anyways. And
Eventually you will.
Eventually, hopefully, one day you will. But no, I appreciate it. And this is Marlon signing off.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for another episode. Make sure and listen to any podcasts we have. The links are in the videos below. So we have an after hours podcast where we go a little bit deeper into some subjects, and we'd love to hear you guys out on that one too.
Yeah, thank y'all for the opportunity to give us our intake, which is it gets better in the after hours for real. Y'all need to go check that out because me and Marlon go deep. Pause. So we go deep, and y'all gonna like it. See, right now we're being cool. We're being cordial, but we go hard. Pause again.
All right. Once again, this was Raising the Bar.